afternoon, everyone, or good morning and evening, depending on where you're joining us from. I'm Jenna with Stahls TV, and today's live broadcast is going to be a very exciting topic, all on stock transfers. If you're joining us, please comment in and like the broadcast. Let us know where you're joining us from. I have us up on Instagram Live, so hi for everyone joining us on there, and then, of course, Facebook Live as well. Hi, thank you so much, Ruthie and Tammy, for commenting in. It's nice to see you guys joining us. We do have a very exciting topic today. Like I mentioned, it's all on stock transfers and how we can profit from those. So a lot of apparel decorators that have the heat press are using stock transfers to their advantage because it saves them a lot of time in artwork creation. So being able to outsource stock transfers really goes a long way. And in the past, they've always been mostly screen print transfers, but they've been very innovative and they've come out with a lot of rhinestone transfers, glitter transfers, sequins, and a lot of embroidery patches that you can stock. And a lot of people don't really know how to utilize them to the best advantage that they can because they don't know what to keep in stock or if their customers are going to like what they have in stock. So I'm going to be showing you some ways of how you can utilize different transfer types, and all of the stock transfers that we're going to be using today are from the WildSide. So I have their website brought up on my computer here, and you can see that they are offering a variety of different transfer types. So they have a bunch of different products. We have stock heat transfers, heat press machines, stock rhinestone transfers. And I know, I'm sorry for everybody joining me on Instagram, you can't really see the screen, but if you want to hop over to Facebook Live, you can do that as well to see exactly what I'm pointing out here. I won't spend too much time on here so that you guys don't get lost in everything that I'm talking about, and I'll start to show you some of the things that they're offering new that is doing very well for them, and that is sequin transfers. So they do a variety of different types. They have very packed sequins, and then some that are a little more texturized where they're actually overlapping each other. All right, so you can see the dimension in the pineapple compared to the ice cream cone that we have here. And they're doing a lot of different clip art types so that you can utilize these and add personalization to them or customization with a heat transfer vinyl. All right, so they do offer a variety of different types. You can see a flamingo here, a unicorn, and really they just do so much. So I really encourage you to go on their website and see everything that they're doing so that you can see all of the possibilities that you have. One really popular one that we're starting to see a lot in retail is flip sequins. Right, so this is just one of the flip sequin types that they have, and you can see here, I'm just going to flip these up and it changes to a different color. Right, so that's what flip sequins is. They're very fun. They're very personable depending on who you're decorating for. So keep these transfer types in mind depending on the niche that you're printing for. These can go across the board anywhere from fan wear for any sports that you may be printing for, and even boutique style garments and children's apparel. And you'll actually see those styles being printed on some of the projects that we have here today. And they go beyond just sequin transfers. They're doing rhinestone transfers, screen print transfers, and they're all compatible with a variety of different fabrics. So the majority of the fabric types that we're going to be printing today are cotton and polyester, and I will point that out. But all of these do have different application instructions depending on the transfer type that you have. So if I'm printing a screen print transfer, I'm going to be able to print that at like 380 degrees. But if I'm doing sequins, I want to drop the temperature on there so it's not actually melting. So it's going to print as low as 320 degrees. Since these temperatures range, it's important to think of the type of material you want to pair with it in order to customize it. So if I wanted to put love dance or love volleyball and drop text below it, what type of material am I going to pair with this so that it's not going to damage this heat transfer or this heat transfer flip sequin? Okay, so I would want to look at something that applies at 320 degrees or lower. All right, so let's go and head to the project so you can see a little bit of how you can easily customize these by just adding heat transfer vinyl to whatever transfer that you have. The first application we're going to be doing is a screen print transfer. All right, so what's nice about the WildSide is they keep things very up to date with what is trending in the industry. One thing that has been trending for a while now is Aztec or mandala type design. So that's exactly what we're achieving here with this elephant screen print. Then we're also going to drop text in. It says good vibes only. So we're creating either, I could just press this by itself, or I could add a little bit more value to it by dropping text in with a contrasting color that's really going to pop off the garment. Now that we're talking about the garment, you also want to consider the type of garment that you're going to be using. So here I have a boxer craft garment, and it has really cute straps in there. So you also want to look for trendy apparel based off of the transfer that you're using. So this is a trending transfer. I also wanted to use a garment that was going to go with it very well. So boxer craft has a lot of trendy material that you can use for that. As I'm working with this garment, I want to make sure that all of these straps up here are going to be off of the platen so that I get a nice even pressure. One thing you want to consider whenever working with screen printed transfers like this is getting a garment that's not going to get in the way of having an even pressure. Right, I am working with a V-neck here, so I want to make sure that my transfer is not dropping too low. And I also want to make sure that I have enough room for my text here. Okay, so I am going to need to drop this a little bit below so that I can fit my text in, and then apply for the full application. Right, so fashion film typically applies at 320 degrees, but my screen print transfer actually applies at 380 degrees. So with that, I know that fashion film is able to be applied as low as 300 or as high as 380 degrees, and I actually didn't get enough time on there, so I'm going to swing my print head back around and reapply for the full 15 seconds. Okay, one thing I skipped over, and that's why it only applied for 5 seconds, was my tack. Okay, so that was my mistake, but before you place your transfers down, you do want to make sure that you're actually preheating the garment for a quick 3 to 5 seconds to release any moisture or wrinkles in the fabric. Since I didn't do that, now there is a slight chance that my transfer could fall off in the wash. Okay, all right, so this is a hot peel, so I can go ahead and peel this back. And then I can also remove my fashion film. All right, fashion film is very lightweight and a great material to pair with your screen print transfers because it feels almost identical to Plastisol ink. All right, it's very thin and lightweight, and now you can see how easily it is to just drop a stock transfer and then personalize or customize it with CAD cut heat transfer vinyl. Okay, all right, so that is screen print transfer. Again, that is from the WildSide. It's called a hot peel transfer, all right? So a lot of their screen print transfers are hot peel, so you don't have to wait for it to cool or anything. All right, so for our next application, we're going to be doing a sequin transfer, all right? So this is going to require a lower temperature at 320 degrees, right? So I'm pairing fashion film with that again. I actually need to grab another platen real quick. I'm going to be using an 11 by 15 so that I can fit my transfer on there better, or my garment on there better. All right, so the reason I need to swap out my platen is because I'm actually doing a children's apparel t-shirt. All right, with the heat press, I'm able to swap out these platens very easily and drop in a new platen so that I'm not getting any issues with adhesion or any seams getting in the way, right? So you'll see the garment that I'm working with has a lot of different fringes on it, okay? So I want to make sure that these fringes are not going to get in the way of an even pressure. All right, so I have my fashion film on there already. All right, make sure the fringes are off the back of the platen and not getting in the way. It's all flat. All right, and then I want to apply my rhinestone transfer. Okay, I need to put a cover sheet on there before I actually print it. Now, one thing we want to keep in mind, and it's a good thing I just remembered this because I'm going to want to apply the fashion film first for this actually, because this only has to apply for 4 to 6 seconds, all right? If I have it under there for the full application of fashion film, then I have to worry about the sequins melting, all right? So it's good to use fashion film so that it stays on there and you know that it's in the right place that you need it. I'm going to apply that first for its full application, which is 15 seconds. And then we'll apply the sequin transfer afterwards, okay? It's also a good thing to do that because this sequin can be a little thick, and we want to make sure that our fashion film is still getting a good adhesion, and this could possibly get in the way of it applying correctly because it's a lot thicker than the fashion film, and it might not cause it not to get enough pressure in order for it to adhere. All right, so I can peel the fashion film back hot, and now I can apply my rhinestone transfer. Okay, again, because I'm like a one-track mind right now, I totally forgot to preheat. So just if you have one takeaway from this class, just make sure that you're preheating before you apply your transfers, okay? Now I just want this to apply for 4 to 6 seconds. I have my 5-second already put up there, so it's just going to apply for just a quick 5 seconds, and then everything will be adhered, okay? All right, so now we're done with a completely customized shirt for a children's type of t-shirt that they can wear for the 4th of July or Labor Day, right? So they do a lot of holiday style transfer too, and you can actually see that on their home page from the website that I brought up earlier, and that is a great way to so that you're able to quickly order transfers, keep them in stock, not have to design anything, and easily be able to customize apparel so that you are able to offer something for any holiday. Right, again, this is a 100% cotton t-shirt, and this was purchased from Cavio. Cavio does children's apparel and women's boutique style garments very well, so be sure to check out their apparel line because they are great for pairing with these trendy styled transfers. All right, so I also showed you earlier some flip sequins, and we're going to be applying that today so that you can see how that looks paired nicely with CAD cut heat transfer vinyl. So this is a different style of flip sequin. You can see that it's red and gold. All right, for the sake of heat pressing this, I'm going to make sure that all of my sequins are pressed down in one way so that nothing's sticking up causing uneven pressure. All right, so I'm going to flip my 11 by 15 into a portrait view so that I have enough room for my design because it is wide, right? And I'm just going to load this J America t-shirt on here. Okay, so J America does glitter apparel where they actually take a metallic thread and weave it throughout their apparel, so it gives it a glitter effect. Okay, so like I didn't do last time, I'm going to actually do a preheat this time. I'm just going to do that for a quick 5 seconds and then take my heat transfer vinyl and get it in place. All right, so I'm pairing CAD cut glitter flake with this. And something to keep in mind, again, earlier I showed you whenever we're printing V-necks, we want to go a little bit closer to that collar so that our design doesn't become a belly button print. All right, we don't want our designs to drop too low on that t-shirt. So whenever you're doing a V-neck, just a rule of thumb, a finger or two down from that collar is going to help you with aligning that correctly. All right, so I can just tack my glitter flake for a quick 5 seconds, and then I'm going to apply the sequins for that same additional 5 seconds like I did with the last one, and then our design will be complete. It was on 15, so I'm just going to hit that again since it already got its 5 seconds on. This is a hot peel, so I can just quickly pull that back and get ready to place in the next piece of my design. Okay, so you may be wondering, how did I know how much space I needed for this design here, okay? Because I know that my heart, I measured it before creating the artwork, and that it was 7 inches across. So I know that all I need is to leave space there for about 7 inches so that I have enough room to drop this transfer in without it overlapping anything else. All right, so cover sheet, and then apply for another 5 seconds. All right, glitter flake applies at a low 302 degrees, but there's no problem with increasing that temperature at all. Glitter flake is very compatible when pairing with a lot of other transfer types, so we don't have to worry about it melting or anything whenever it's under a high heat. All right, so remove the cover sheet, and then we have a completed fan wear t-shirt on a glitter tee from J America, and then we have the capability of flip sequins here. And just so that you can see that up close, I'm going to hold this up and just move these up. All right, so you can see that none of these sequins melted or anything, okay? So very compatible with being able to heat press on cotton, cotton poly, or any type of popular fabrics that are known from your apparel suppliers. Right, again, this blank was from J America. All right, before I move on to the next application, I want to shoot out to Instagram. Are we getting any questions over there?
We had one question. They wanted to know about the air fusion, and they wanted to know how much it was.
Okay, so you can find that all on our website, so just be sure to go to stahls.com. It's all under our heat presses and heat press accessories. It's at the top of the page in a tab. All right, and then I have some questions coming from Facebook. Sandy, you're asking, where did we get the heart? That is from the WildSide. So the WildSide does a lot of stock transfers so that you can keep these in-house and incorporate them into any of the artwork that you're using now. We have another question from Shar. Is there a CDN company that offers rhinestone transfers that you are aware of? I'm not sure what CDN means, but the WildSide does offer rhinestone transfers, and another very well-known company in the industry is the Rhinestone World. Our other sister company, the Transfer Express, they also do rhinestone transfers where you can actually create your own artwork, and they'll send the transfer ready for you to heat apply. All right, so that's 3 that you can use for rhinestones. Evelyn asks, how thick are the sequin transfers? It depends on the transfer, and they'll list that on the website. So if you go to the WildSide and look up any of those transfers, they'll be able to tell you the thickness. So just for comparison, if we're looking at the flamingo, all right, so the sequin on this is actually very flat, but if I'm comparing it to the pineapple, where some sequins is actually overlapping it, it's going to create an added thickness to that. In addition to that, there is a backing to all of the sequins, right? So it's going to feel about as thick as any type of applique typically would, but definitely visit the WildSide for that, right? CDN, I've just been informed that that means Canadian, and I'm not positive for what is available in Canada. But I do know that some of our US-based companies, sister companies and Stahls, are available in Canada. So something that we can look at after the class and follow up with you then, okay? All right, so it looks like we have a good bit of the questions answered on Facebook. I will get back to you if I skipped over any after the broadcast. All right, for our last application, we're going to be doing an embroidered patch, all right? So these patches are very popular in retail. They're being incorporated a lot, but what they're actually doing, some are doing just the transfers so that all they have to do is heat press it, right? So you can see the adhesive on the back. and then some are actually embroidering that, okay? So that is two options that you have. If you do not have an embroidery machine, it's going to be a lot easier for you to just outsource these and stock them for whatever apparel you want to decorate with, okay? All right, for this application, I'm going to be swapping out more. Well, actually, I might be able to utilize the 11 by 15 if I rotate it. So let's see here. All right, so I'm using this jacket. It's a bomber jacket from Bella Canvas, right? And what we're going to do here is actually definitely get a different platen. All right, so that 11 by 15 is a little too wide for what I'm trying to do here. So I'm going to bring over the leg and sleeve platen since our design is a little bit long here, right? So I'll just be able to drop this jacket right over the side of it and get my print area isolated so that I have a nice even pressure, okay? These platens are very easy to interchange. The pin just drops into the heat press and you can easily just swatch them in and out. They're not too heavy, okay? So the leg and sleeve platen is 6 inches in width, so that's going to be ideal for this design here, okay? All right, so going to just unzip this a little bit and thread this onto the side. Okay, make sure my zipper's off to the side so I don't have to worry about it causing uneven pressure for these transfers. One thing, and that's why these styles of presses are so important, is because they do pressure, time, and temperature very well. They read all of that out for you, okay? So you know exactly what time, temperature, and pressure you're getting at all times, and that is very important for these styles of transfers. Okay, so we'll do a quick preheat. Just a quick 5 seconds. Sometimes you don't even need to go as long as 5 seconds, 2 or 3 seconds will do the job as well. All right, so again, this jacket is from Bella Canvas, and you'll notice that I actually just pulled out a piece of this jacket so that's not under the transfer, causing uneven pressure as well, okay? All right, and we're just going to be putting this on the left chest of the jacket and covering with our cover sheet and applying for the full application. All right, so embroidery patches actually apply at 375 degrees for 12 to 15 seconds. All right, so those of you on Instagram can probably see, but Facebook attendees, you can't actually see the temperature here. I have it set at 380 degrees for all of these transfers. Notice that I did that just because my highest transfer calls for 380 degrees for its dwell time. So whenever you're working with transfers that go a little higher than others, it's best to go with the highest application, okay? All right. All right, so that is how this bomber jacket and a lot of jackets like this are being custom printed or embroidered, all right? This is very popular in retail, and you're able to achieve this easily from the WildSide stock transfers. Right, and I do get a lot of questions from live broadcasts and even at my seminars at trade shows. Why do I prefer to use the craft paper? This is why. Okay, so these are throwaway pieces of craft paper, but sometimes my transfers can bleed, especially if they're exposed. All right, so this was a sublimated thread or garment dyed thread. So it is actually transferring up from it whenever it's being heat applied, okay? So now this cover sheet is totally unusable now. I don't want this to transfer to any other garment or to any other transfer, so I'll just toss this and throw it away. All right, that's also why it's so important to always use a cover sheet, because you never know what's going to bleed and then damage the upper heating element of your platen, okay? All right, so that is the completion of our products that or our demonstrations that we're going to be doing today. But I do encourage you to go on the WildSide because they have thousands upon thousands of transfers, all in different transfer types, all right? So I went over the majority and the most popular, but one that you guys are probably most familiar with that they offer are rhinestone transfers. Okay, rhinestones are still very popular, so I do encourage you to look at some of those that they offer. All right, so before we end, I'll go ahead and look at some questions on Facebook. Mary asks, where do you get your craft paper? I purchase it from Stahls, okay? So Stahls has packs of 25 of craft paper that you can get online. All right, pillow needed for vest. What about the zipper? Okay, so the zipper is just going to drop off the side of that platen. If you did not have a heat press that has interchangeable platens, there are pillows available, and that's actually what we definitely recommend for people printing over top of buttons or zippers. So pillows are definitely lucrative if you do not have interchangeable platens. Okay, and also Kathy asked, do the patches come with an embroidery life or file? No, they do not. The embroidery files is something that you can get from Stahls. All right, so any artwork that you send us, we'll actually send you a sew file for, but these are just transfers. They're not meant to be embroidered, okay, so just heat pressed. Mike asks, I haven't found anything in Canada like the WildSide, but they do deliver to Canada. All right, so that answers that question. Thank you so much, Mike, for helping me out with that. All right, and it looks like we're all good with questions on Facebook and Instagram. I thank you guys so much for joining this broadcast, and I will reach out after the class for any other questions that you may have. Thank you so much for joining me.